beautiful morning in Iowa. On the road here, it's, I don't know, a little before 7 o'clock Central Time. Going by some big open fields here in Iowa. Some type of farm over there. Man, beautiful sunrise starting this morning. Hopefully get to see more of it. This will be our last day on the road. Should be home in about 9 hours or so, give or take. All depends on traffic and how weather turns out. But as you see, they got snow here. Until I got to probably about 40 miles west of Iowa City, I seen snow. So, looked pretty good. Here is the almighty Mississippi River. I have wanted to see this for a really long time. So I'm glad I'm finally getting to go over it. Wow. And we're into Illinois now. Right now we're in Illinois. This is pretty cool, I gotta say. I've never got to see it, and I'm glad I got to experience it. Coming into Illinois now, first exit into Illinois, exit 1. I got many more to go in Illinois, so keep plugging away. Well, it's pretty wide open out here. There's at least a couple trees. I mean, not a whole lot. Pretty open though. A nice little grain operation over there. A couple more windmills here. First ones I've seen in Illinois. There's 2 of them here. And see, we're driving right into sunrise. Unfortunately, it's cloudy. There's a solar farm here too. Few panels, mainly all on unusable ground for the most part. So I hopped off the interstate just so I could come over here and see this big grain bin set up here. Not sure who or where it is, or if it's a co-op or what, but all I can tell you is it's freaking massive. Massive bins, dryers. That is only, I don't know, a quarter mile off the interstate. So I figure, why not check it out? I'm just taking a stab in the dark and saying this is an ethanol plant. I'm not sure though. Just kind of makes sense. Here again, I could be wrong. Looks like I'd be right by the sign on the side of the road there. So for those that don't know, ethanol comes from corn. So anytime you see ethanol in your gas or whatever, it comes from corn. It comes from farmers producing it. And then these ethanol plants turn it into a product that they add into gas. Now a lot of people don't like it in their small engines because it does seem to tear them up, the carburetors and so on. So it's a great place for people to be able to, guys to sell their corn. Makes an even bigger market for them. So yeah, nice that size ethanol plant there. That was just down from that, what I'm assuming was a co-op there too. There in town. I mean, if I would have just taken a little county road right there, it would take me right to that ethanol plant. So kind of odd. You got them 2 big mass. You got a big massive, what I'm assuming is a co-op, and then you got the ethanol plant literally 2 miles down the county road is where that was at. But out here, all these wide open fields, they got to have somewhere to take all that corn. I mean, some of these are kind of like at home, little 5-10 acre fields, and other ones, man, they're pretty massive. So looks like whoever farms this has done their chisel plowing for the year. Oh, looks like put some tile in. Just by the way them lines are going up through, it looks like they put some tile in. Okay. That's good. Looks like those are on little 60-foot centers. What those look like. Yeah. Now this ground here, as you can see, kind of see how the black chunks are sticking up out. That is, they have either ripped or chisel plowed that ground. It looks more like chisel plowing, but which chisel plowing is a form of tillage. You got a little bit of like CRP ground there, lowland, wetland, and then right back into good wide open fields. So tiling, when they tile a field, which means they're putting in perforated drainage pipe. It's called drain tile. Basically what it does, they put it in under the ground. Now you can dig it in with an excavator, which is not a super common way of doing it anymore. Or you can pay a tile crew to come in, or maybe you have your own plow. They have them for back of tractors. Big variation of how you can put tile in. But the purpose of tile is to drain the excess moisture out of the field. Now it doesn't mean you're making it so to be like a drought or a very, very dry field in that way. Drain tile is to get that excess moisture out. What it does is it'll drain it down to, tiles put in usually 28 inches to 36 inches. It's probably a good inch depth. Basically what you're trying to do is just suck all that water from the top, so it gives you them roots, drier ground to hold on to, and it's also aerating the soil. So many people don't know about tile is it does aerate the soil because there is now air underneath the ground. So that's how drain tile works, is it just basically takes the excess moisture off and it takes it down. Now a lot of people around home do 30-foot centers or 20-foot centers. And what I mean by that, it's kind of like when you're putting studs on centers in a house, like 16-inch. These are every 20 feet, 25 feet, 30 feet, however, and so on and so forth. And that just depends on how wet your ground is. That guy's ground there might not be very wet, and that 60-foot centers is all he needs. And that was systematically tiled, which systematically means it's done by GPS. So all those are done, and they're all going to be in a perfectly straight row for the most part, unless there's a variation that they want to put in. And it's the best way to put drain tile in, because you're draining the whole field the same way. There is no, I'm going to put one here, I'm going to put one there. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Especially if you have a very nice field and you have 2 wet spots in it. But normally guys now are just systematically tiling the whole field. It ups the property value. It ups the potential to put more bushels on per acre. It doesn't mean you can plant more, but it means hopefully your corn does better and makes more bushels, which then in return gives you your money. Start making your money back. Well, we're now in Indiana, and we're a little bit into it because everybody knows the first part of it is very much just a city. We get into Gary and whatnot, but yeah, this is the agriculture side of Indiana. This is the good side of it. We got some center pivots here. Get out there in the field. This looks good. Beautiful weather to drive home in. So I should be home probably, I don't know, 5-6 hours from this time right now. I'm not quite sure where in Indiana the central and eastern time zone splits, so I'm not sure if it's, say, 11:06 right now, 43 degrees, I'm not sure if I'm in Central or Eastern. I'm pretty sure I'm still in Central time. So at home it's 12:06. Well, oh well. Keep plugging away. Been a beautiful trip so far. Beautiful, beautiful. As I come through Elkhart, Indiana here, it's where a whole lot of the campers are made. So something I didn't elaborate a whole lot on when we were out looking at Five Rivers Cattle Company at feedlot is what the purpose of a feedlot is. You don't see very many of them on the East Coast. You see a lot of them are in the Midwest to into Colorado, base of the Rockies. Of course, there's not much agriculture going on up in the Rockies, that's for sure, but other than bare minimum. But so basically what a feedlot is it's where cattle go to be finished, whether that's after they've been weaned off their mothers from 6-8 months old, whenever they sold them, till their slaughter date, which could be 14, 15, 16 months, whatever they see as fit, or however they run their operation. So what they do is they go into pens that have a feed bunk that run the front of the pen, and then of course there's an alleyway, and then usually a feed bunk on the other side for the next pen. And they mix up forages in what they call a TMR mixer. So they'll mix their corn silage, haylage, grain, minerals all into this truck or into a pull type wagon. Mix it up in there, and then they'll go down through and feed them that. And what the feedlots are meant to do is they want to put pounds on the animal and put them on as fast as they can. That's their goal. Feedlots are a somewhat stressful environment for them, but they're not bad. Some are worse than others, I'm sure. So then what they do there is they get there, and some people use a feedlot just to finish their cows. They may raise them up to be 12 months old and then sell them to the feedlot just to have the feedlot finish them. So like I said, that one there, I don't know how many head of cattle it holds. They could hold anywhere from a few hundred head to 15,000 head or something. It just depends. They vary in size and capacity. That one there held a lot of cows, a lot of beef. So very interesting to see. Definitely, like I said, definitely something I'd never seen before, never smelt before. But that's how they work, and they're basically there to put pounds on the animal, and that's what they want to do, is try to get as many pounds on the animal in a short amount of time as they can, and then of course help the marbling and get a choice prime of cuts out of the animal. I have a bunch of them. So, but I'll throw a link down into Five Rivers. They're on, I believe they're on Instagram and TikTok as well. Always advertising for employment, so on and so forth. But they're basically all out Colorado, Nebraska. That's where they're at. So, but check it out. Like I said, it's just a different way of finishing beef where, we finish on the farm. We do everything from birth till slaughter, or we buy feeders and feed them up, and we do the finishing process ourselves. So people will say that it tastes better doing it the way we are doing it. Other people may not. They may like that feedlot style beef. But if you buy beef in a grocery store, if you buy it at Walmart or wherever, it's coming from a feedlot. It gets shipped to the feedlot. They feed it for however many months, and then they ship it to the processor. And there's several large processors: Tyson, Smith Foods, everybody's heard of those ones there. Of course, with COVID, everybody's heard of them because they shut down the packers. It's another word for them is the packer. So there's good and bad in it, you know, but we always encourage buy local, find a local beef farmer wherever you are. You don't have to buy from us. Find a local beef farmer that you trust and you can see them being raised. And that's part of the reason why we do the channel is, you know, to show everybody what the experience is of what we're doing and to then show them this is where your beef is coming from. This is what your beef is eating. This is what it takes to raise your beef. You know, it kind of explains why the cost of beef is what it is, you know, and, you know, our beef might be cheaper than somebody else's, might be more expensive than somebody else's. But I can tell you this much, we always try to have good quality for a good price, you know, because our customers, you know, I want to make sure we can feed our customers because our customers have families, you know, and it's a family run operation. I want to keep it that way. I want to make sure that we're taking care of other families as well. Looks like some turkey or chicken houses there. Not sure which, but that's usually what they look like. The fire department for the fire department entrance for the Ohio toll road. There's a little maintenance barn here. We're plugging across Ohio now. Looks a lot of the same as Indiana. Just no center pivots at all so far. Looks like some of the guys have already worked ground and prepped for next year. Looks good. Ground looks real good. Couple of little hit spot right there. But did notice it is a little bit wetter over here than it was in Indiana, and I don't know really the big difference. I mean, we went probably about 25 miles or so, but then again, we do know 25 miles can make a huge difference in weather. Heck, 10 feet in Pennsylvania can make a difference. So, I mean, yeah, there's another field all worked up for next year. Somebody's got some yellow drain pipe getting ready to put it in. Yeah, it looks like a lot of these fields could really use it. This one right here, we're coming back at a semi, but I'd say it's a little wet there. So the corn doesn't usually do very well there, I'd say. Hope for a dry year for that field. All nice and wide open out here, I'll tell you. Beautiful country. Big old elevator over there. Grain elevator. Good looking ground. It's kind of neat to see the guys who've done tillage, like there again, there's another field already been all worked up, ready for next year. And then the next field, nothing done to it. Now granted, a little bit wetter. And then come on to this side of the road and it's all corn stalks and there's nothing done yet. So, who knows? Some kind of turkey or chicken house, something I'm going to take a stab in the dark. Just by the way the bins are there, the way they're set up. For mile marker 31 on 9080, my bad, or 8090 on the toll road. Beautiful. Beautiful open ground here, a little bit of woods here and there. A lot of little farms and little grain farms and small beef operations. Beautiful country. Beautiful, beautiful. Right there is systematic tile. That field was tiled back there. And just all done what looked to be about on 30-foot centers roughly. I don't know what the heck that is. Parts of the brewery, maybe? There's another standing cornfield over there. There's even more standing corn. I've seen more standing corn in Ohio here than anywhere else. I haven't seen hardly a lick of standing corn anywhere else other than once got to Ohio. I think there was a couple fields in Indiana. Very little. Very, very little. This does, you know, that's a pretty large amount of corn, so hopefully they get that off pretty quick. Otherwise, I only got part of it. Maybe it's a different farmer, I don't know. Some really nice looking winter wheat there, I'm assuming, or maybe it's rye. Either or, winter wheat or rye. Big field of it. Really nice looking. Well, we're coming up on the last state to come into here. We're in Ohio right now. Next couple miles here we will be back into PA. So it's been I don't know, so far over 1,600 miles from Glenwood Springs to almost the PA line. So yeehaw. Here we are, into Pennsylvania. In the home state now. Only about an hour left to drive, give or take. Getting on to 79. First time I got off at 80 since Nebraska, other than to pull in and get fuel or anything like that. But I definitely tell you, that was definitely well worth the trip. Come all the way across from Nebraska, all the way across. Heading homeward now. Heading north on 79. Just getting dark. Just a little after 5. So nothing too bad here. Just keep on cruising and we'll be home before you know it. Well, we're back in Townville. The street lights, and it's 5:52 in the evening, Eastern Standard Time. So I started driving this morning. It will be just before 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and may here by 6. So 10 hours from Iowa City to home. So get this thing backed in for the night and call night, and now we got to take care of our own cows yet. So we'll take care of them. All right, thanks for coming along. A little bit different video. Home now. Time to start taking care of our own cows instead of out looking at everybody else's. So, like I said, different video. Hope you enjoyed it. Just a little snippets of what I seen, what I got to do. Unfortunately, I didn't get enough of the canyon just because of the wait in the line traffic due to the accident. So, have to go back and look at it again. So, thanks for coming along. Really appreciate it. Hope you liked the video.